How's it going, YouTube? So we're back with my GMC where I went ahead and pulled the airbag. All you need is a little pick on each side. You shove it in the little holes that are up here. It goes down, hits a tab in there, and you see it moving that piece. And then you can pull it out. Once that's pulled out, 4T30s, and hopefully we can clean up whatever's going on inside of these and get my horn working again. I went ahead and I used a little bit of sandpaper on this side, got it all good, but now I press and I get nothing. But if I turn my wheel slightly, I get something. So that's probably a piece back here. I'm gonna do some research online because I'm honestly not too familiar with these. As you can tell from the mess of parts in here, it did not go as planned. So I pulled out the clock spring and ended up actually breaking it while trying to fix it. Went to a junkyard and got, I don't even know where it is now, but another clock spring. However, it had two attachments for the airbag and mine only has one because this was out of a Chevy. I was told it would work. It won't. So then I went to AutoZone and bought their assembly where it tells you how to put the ribbons in, which are the wiring that I took off. And now I am going to try to put this piece back in. So the first step is putting these in, and then it's got a little piece that you screw on to secure them. And I actually stumbled across this piece in a video on how to put it in and was like, oh, that's actually not too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just to make this easier. So the first thing to do is just slide these in with, according to the color code that's on the back of this. And it tells you, you know, you'll have these four, those two are empty, and then you'll start with the yellow here, and you slip it in, and then it's got a piece that just sits in here. It says start with the center screw, tighten that screw somewhat, and then slowly go through, and there's one on each side. Tighten them all down. A key thing to note is that the tab that pushes in, so the top of this needs to be flush. What I had to do was take a little flathead screwdriver and pry out on these, because otherwise it was just like pushing them out and weird. But I pried them out and then pushed them back, and that lets it click all the way down. We're getting closer and I'm getting wetter because it's raining. But got that pin put in the clock spring on the column, making sure to line up the little hole where I think the horn goes down. Put the collar back in there, put the clamshell back on. I ended up having to take off this dash piece to make it easier to see what I was doing. And then from there, I'm probably going to put this dash piece back in and start on the steering wheel. Okay, so I have everything back together. My horn's still not working. This is the original horn contacts out of my truck. Since I had the junkyard one, I also went ahead and just put this in. I went ahead and reinstalled this. I also stretched out this spring to make it push harder in, and I had no horn. But what I could do is take a piece of wire, put one end down in that hole, and the solution to my issue was so simple. So if you look down in this little hole here, there's like a brass disc at the back, very similar to, whoops, let me zoom out. Very similar to what you have on the end of this. Well, there was plastic in front of that brass disc, and there still is a little bit, still is just a tiny bit on the bottom side, and it's not going to focus. But if I put my screwdriver in there, I can consistently get it to honk when I get that plastic out of the way. So I think what I'm going to have to do is just fish it out and try to chip it out. So yeah, after chipping away and getting the plastic out of the way, putting it in there and locking it. So, horn's now fixed on this truck. I went through, cleaned the contacts at first, and I know in the video if I kept that piece in, I was cleaning the wrong spot. It's the little brass nipples that stick up there. Cleaned those, still didn't work, pulled out the clock spring, or while digging deeper, broke the clock spring, so I had to replace that. Got that all back together, horn still didn't work, turned out to be just some garbage down there, and that was ridiculous to go and figure out, but at least it's done. have a good horn. Let's put this back on, make sure we don't have any airbag light. Yep, so I am unbuckled, the brake is on, and the truck's not started. Start the truck, that one will go away. We'll just be down to these two. Yep, so took way too much time, but did fix whatever the heck that was. And at least you guys now have a reference on, check that little hole if you're chasing gremlins. I'm going to finish getting the trim reattached, but that's going to do it for this video. Until next time.